Hello, this is Mr. Doty, and I'm going to try this for the second time with the right microphone turned on and see if I can get this to work. So this is one of the last section drawings that you're going to have to do in Chapter 12. And for those of you just looking for how to make a broken dimension, how to make a conventional break, uh, I'm not exactly going to show you how to draw the conventional break because I need to sit down and kind of look at it myself, remind myself how to do it. He kind of drew, or this student drew kind of a half circle. It's not really a half circle. Um, it's it's more of a less than a half circle kind of deal. And basically what you do is you have your little S curve here, and then you mirror this section over, and it makes more of a like a teardrop kind of effect. And this is kind of more rounded down here is kind of the idea. It's not the easiest thing to do, but in the book on 400 and something, I think was the page. I'd have to look it up again, but it does kind of show you how to do that. There's probably also videos out there if you wanted to look. Uh, you know, I'm not the only guy who makes videos. There's some really good ones out there. But I did want to cover a few things on dimensioning for sure. So, like, this is not really 31 because what I started out with was one that was drawn to 31. It didn't have this break in there. In fact, it didn't have the precision set right either. So what I could do is go back and open it up again, which I think I will, because that was 1238. See if it pops up again. Apparently it is not because I have it open. So we will, no, I don't want to do that. It's not good. So we'll just start from here. So how do we fix this? So the jog dimension, so if you start out with a regular dimension, so like this guy right here, and let's say you wanted to put a jog dimension on it, there's up under annotate, you have the jog dimension thing here, and tool. And what you do is basically you pick on it, you pick the dimension that you want to put a break on. Let's say I was going to put a break on this one and I didn't have this there. You'd pick it where you want to put it. Oh, look, it moved it. There we go. So anyway, and that's how you do it. You just go to here, pick on the your jog tool, and then pick on the dimension, pick where you want it, and it'll put it on there. Apparently, you don't have more than one. Now, so how would I change this if this is shorter, right, than 31? So what I did is I stretched this down to where it was shorter. And because this is basically a conventional break, it's a break in the material. So it's not really 31 because I don't need to show a continuous pipe. I just need this detail down here and then the threads on this end. So what I do is I can click on this, and if you right click, go to properties, and this is how you can edit your dimensions. So first of all, I need to come down here under text, and instead of being 17.909, I put in 31.00. Now something else you need to remember is that you do not want to suppress zeros on your inch drawings. So when you go to your dimension style under annotative, make sure pull it over here, that when you go to your units, get rid of this. Okay? On regular annotative, we're not going to do the trailing zeros, suppress. We are going to do the leading. I know some of my other videos says you need to do this. Well, I've changed what I need to do because in the upper level classes, you have tolerancing, and that's what needs to happen. Now under metric, you have the reverse. You have trailing zeros, suppress them, and then you uncheck the leading. So it's the reverse of annotative. Don't ask me why they do that. I have no idea. Just to be different, I guess, because it's metric. So on metric, suppress the trailing zeros. On annotative regular, do not suppress the trailing zeros. One of these days, I'll get it straight with everybody and it'll be fine. The other thing, so like this one automatically has 3 digits, right? Because that's what the precision was set to for the majority of the dimensions. That's fine. Well, what you don't want that for these. So this one, and of course I had to manually change this one. But these two, I picked them, and what I can do is I can go and I can change the, come on, under primary units, you see your precision here. So this overrides the dimension style precision because I'm changing the properties of these 2 items. So I click on here and I can change it. I can change it to 3 decimals, 4, whatever. Well, most of our drawings have at least 2 places on decimal, and so we want to show the 2 zeros, and that makes it look fine. These have 3 decimal places, so they're fine. I don't want them to round up. I want to show that, so I leave that with the regular precision of whatever most of the dimensions are. So remember that. You're going to have to go in. You're going to have to go into properties of some of your dimensions and make adjustments. It's just the way it is. The other thing was line type scale. Make sure you check your line type scale. This was an inch drawing, so I set it to 0.5. Metric drawings, some of your inch drawings may be 0.25. It depends on what you scale it in the viewport as. Okay. The other thing is on metric, it's going to be greater than 1. It may be 6, it may be 12, it may be 20. It just really depends on the scale. Like if you have something that's 1 to 4, then yeah, you're probably going to have it closer to the 25.4 that our scale factor is between inch and metric. But typically it's not going to be 25. That'll be too big. Because like these, this little center mark right here is not going to show up right if, if I have it set too small. In fact, this has 2 different ones. I see something else that's not good on here as well. So some of you guys didn't pay attention on this, and you have center marks showing on the, see, I tell you guys to put this on none. And it could be a leftover from another class that you had a different teacher and they didn't do that. Well, why are we using the center mark tool if I have this checked? I don't need it because then it messes things up. So see, now I can see my center mark. So that means that this over here needed to have a center mark right here. There's your center mark tool, pick the biggest circle, and there we go. Now, what else am I missing? Well, I'm kind of missing a center line on this guy right here. And I probably wouldn't use the actual Centerline tool. I would actually probably go over here and go to my center line. And this must be set up for Mr. Anderson's class because it's all really dark colors that show up on white paper. That's okay. It's just not the way to do it. So, whoever's class you're taking, remember, you need to set your stuff up for that teacher, okay? It's just like having a different boss. It's not wrong, it's just different, and as long as they're not trying to get you to do something immoral or illegal, then you pretty much should probably follow the directions. So, anyway, I just went in here and drew a center line in, on both sides of the center mark. So they left a little space just so that it looks kind of fairly even. Try to keep it as close as I can. So there we go. And, that makes a nice, pretty drawing. And that is correct, where we have the conventional break. We've got our broken dimension. Or what it's dim your jogged dimension. And there's actually a jog dimension for radiuses. Although I'm not exactly sure why we end up doing that, since technically that center is not even anywhere on our paper. So go figure. But it's just a way to show it. So hopefully this little video will help you out and get you a little closer. I'll probably make one on conventional brakes at some point when I've sat down and kind of gotten a good process on how to do it. Overall, most of my students this time around have actually turned in some good examples. They're not perfect, and honestly, it's really this kind of fickle little thing to draw, but it's okay. Alrighty, well, we will catch you on the next video, and you have fun.